Mukesh Ambani, the man who built a global empire. Welcome to Rising Ahead, where we celebrate the stories of extraordinary people who have achieved great things. Today, we're talking about Mukesh Ambani, the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries, India's most valuable company by market value. Ambani was born in a small town in Yemen in 1957. His father, Dhirubhai Ambani, was a self-made billionaire who founded Reliance Industries. Mukesh Ambani took over the company after his father's death in 2002. Under Ambani's leadership, Reliance Industries has become a global conglomerate with interests in oil and gas, retail, telecommunications, and other sectors. The company is also one of the largest employers in India, with over 600,000 employees. Ambani is a visionary leader who has helped to transform the Indian economy. He is also a philanthropist who has donated millions of dollars to charitable causes. But Ambani's journey to success was not easy. He faced many challenges along the way. He had to overcome poverty, discrimination, and family tragedy. But he never gave up on his dreams. Ambani is a true inspiration to anyone who has ever dreamed big. He shows us that anything is possible if we set our minds to it and never give up. Here are some of Mukesh Ambani's success tips. Set big goals. Ambani has always set ambitious goals for himself and his company. He believes that if you don't aim for the stars, you'll never reach the sky. Never give up. Ambani has faced many challenges in his career, but he has never given up. He is a true inspiration to anyone who has ever dreamed big. Take calculated risks. Ambani is not afraid to take risks, but he always does his research and weighs the odds before making a decision. Be persistent. Ambani has never stopped working hard to achieve his goals. He is a true testament to the power of hard work and determination. Be humble. Despite his success, Ambani remains humble and down to earth. He is always willing to help others and give back to the community. Let's hear from Mr. Mukesh Ambani himself, when he shared his business and leadership ideas on many occasions during various interviews.
Nobody has ever achieved anything big in business or in any walk of life without courage. Of course, whenever you do anything big, you do feel a little scared. But you've got to conquer fear to discover the hidden hero within you. Over the last 40 years, I have been very fortunate to lead Reliance. Everything I am today is because of Reliance. Everything I know today is thanks to Reliance. I want to share with you the most important lessons I have learned from my father during this phenomenal journey. The first lesson is courage, and I have seen it in a whole lot of you. Nobody has ever achieved anything big in business or in any walk of life without courage. Of course, whenever you do anything big, you do feel a little scared. But you've got to conquer fear to discover the hidden hero within you. With courage, with self-belief, and the can-do spirit, you overcome any adversity. Therefore, I want today's young leaders at Reliance to realize that achieving your potential is the quest of the ordinary. Conquering the impossible is your destiny. The second lesson I have learned is feel empathy. Empathy means caring and sharing with every human being in our organization and the world at large. The more we care, the higher we grow as human beings. I understand empathy as dil ki daulat. It is the wealth of your heart. The more you spend it on others, the more wealthy you become. The third lesson I have learned is to have absolute faith in technology and talent. In every business we have started, we have always embraced the latest technology and have attracted the best talent. When top technology and talent work together, they produce unbeatable creativity, innovation, and invention. Like my father, I value trust, loyalty, and a direct heart-to-heart relationship. As we enter Reliance's golden decade, I want to commend these learnings to the next generation of Reliance. The future of Reliance belongs to you. Today, you have a fabulous platform that will enable you to achieve multiples of what has been achieved by my generation. Friends, today, Reliance is a global leader in energy and materials, where operating safely is an obsession. And with Jio and retail, where we have established leadership position in India, we are customer obsessed. As we enter our golden decade, we at Reliance are in a unique position to accomplish what very few companies in the world can even dream of. And I have no doubt that the next generation of Reliance will make it a reality. Yes, we can and we will. So let me say first, can Reliance be amongst the top 20 companies in the world? Yes, we can and we will. Second, I believe that in the coming decades, the world will transition from fossil fuels to clean, green and renewable energy. Can Reliance become a leading power of clean and affordable energy to India? Yes, we can and we will. Third, I believe that the world will invent new materials that will revolutionize how we manufacture and produce things and improve the quality of life of every human being. Can Reliance be a leading global producer of these innovative new materials? Yes, we can and we will. Fourth, Jio has the opportunity to digitally reinvent with artificial intelligence and blockchain all sectors of the Indian economy, whether it is entertainment, financial services, commerce, manufacturing, agriculture, education, or healthcare. Can Jio be the first company to transform an entire nation in each one of these sectors? Yes, we can and we will. Fifth and finally, Reliance has an opportunity to be an even stronger partner to our nation. Can Reliance and Jio partner and empower all Indians, our fellow citizens, small businesses and merchants and enterprises, so India can become a global superpower? Can Reliance do that? Yes, we can and we will. My Reliance family, looking at the sea of lights in front of me and looking at your energy, optimism and self-confidence, I am assured that the future of Reliance is in good hands. And this institution that we love and cherish will rise to even greater heights in the decades to come.
I really think that we are at a very exciting time in human history. And the way I think about it, and now this is said, but I think about it simply in terms of what does the fourth industrial revolution mean for us, right? So if we think about the first industrial revolution, that was really coal and steam that taught us mechanization of production. The second industrial revolution, which was electrical power and oil, gave humanity the tools of mass production and distribution. The third industrial revolution, which was electronics, automation, and what I call siloized software, right, gave us the basics of efficiency and productivity. And now we are just at the doorsteps of the fourth industrial revolution, which is convergence of the physical, digital, and biological sciences. So when you have everything converging, I've understood very recently, only 3 or 4 years ago, the meaning of the word exponential. And I think that all of you being in the IT industry understand exponential. And I think that we are on the verge of exponential change. And with this convergence that is happening in the world, we have the opportunity to solve big problems in a short time And that is why I say that in the next 20 years, humankind can achieve much more than what we have in the last 300 years. And it's a very exciting time. The fourth industrial revolution is connectivity and data, right? The convergence of all the sciences is really brought about by connectivity and data. And yes, to my mind, data is the new natural resource. And fundamentally, you have to have a lot of people to generate data and use data. So in that sense, India is naturally blessed with its 1.3 billion people. Data in its raw form, right, is useful, but for it to have real value, it has to be processed into intelligence. And we are really at the beginning of that era where data is really the new oil. And when we bring all these convergent technologies, the benefit that it brings to society is immense. And that is why I really believe that data is the new oil, and India, just with its talent and young population, in this natural resource will have a competitive advantage. Well, Jio was conceived at a time where we all knew that the world is fast digitizing. And if the Indian economy doesn't have access to next generation digital infrastructure, we will be left behind, we will be outcompeted, and we will not stand a chance to prove ourselves in the world. In 2015, India was 155th out of 230 countries in mobile broadband access. And we believe with the investment in Jio and the concurrent action of the industry as a whole spurred by Jio, India can easily be in the top 10 countries in the world in terms of broadband access. And to our mind, every Indian has a right to live his life to his full potential, and digital life will be a part of that in the coming years. And given that, we think data is the oxygen of this digital life, and no Indian should have this oxygen in scarcity, in quantity, or should not have the right quality, or should not have the right affordability. So Jio really stands for affordability, quality, and quantity for all Indians at all times. And with the initial response that we got from Indians, we are absolutely overwhelmed. We are at the bleeding edge of technology, and when you put young Indians together, right, and give them an opportunity, in my experience, they have always outperformed and out-delivered. So what we now have is a network platform. It's the world's first all-IP platform that covers now over 95% of Indians. We really think that as the world digitizes, with the opportunities that we see to solve big problems, the next step is partnership. The Indian talent, it will focus the Indian IT industry to focus on solving problems in India. The domestic market is huge. Within that, I think that what the Jio platform offers and what we look forward to is really partner with the next generation to really solve problems for India, to improve quality of life for our people, to make sure that our industries are more. Fundamentally, it's like our view is that we partner, and in this is all about building the digital ecosystem. No one company can do it on its own. And we really have to adopt the next gen technology. India has to be the capital of real implementation of blockchain to build the trust economy in terms of the internet. We have the opportunity really to make sure that we adapt artificial intelligence and natural language processing. We adapt drones in terms of our own logistics. So I think that the opportunities are immense, and we now have the infrastructure to do it in our own market and make India one of the biggest software markets in the world. Mobile computing is the defining technology of this century. When you combine mobile computing with the progress that we have made in connectivity and with machine learning, deep learning and artificial intelligence, right, and the whole natural language processing, millions of Indians, how will they access information on the internet? And it can be your own language. You can speak to your mobile phone and there you are. You don't need to type, you don't need to do anything. So this whole combination that is coming about is again going to redefine quality of information and services that will be available to ordinary Indians so that they have access to opportunities and information which was impossible before. More importantly, I think that when we are in the engineering, technology world, like we have, and we have visions of ourselves, right? I always remind our technology people in terms of saying that, remember, at the end of the day, technology has to adjust to human beings and not the other way around. That ultimately there is common sense and the power of the common man, and technology has to adjust to human beings. All our young people have to understand, at the end of the day, we serve society and we serve that common man, and we should always be aware that he's far smarter than each one of us. We have all the ingredients of leading back in this new age that the world is going to go through. And just let me give you one simple example in terms of change. And it really is on the work that my friend Nandan Nilekani has done in terms of the Aadhaar identity system. So because we have Aadhaar, where now over 1.3 billion people have individual identity, right? That helps multiple industries. When we started Jio, right, and we set a target for ourselves in terms of saying that we will acquire 100 million customers in the shortest time, right? Even we didn't imagine that we would do it in months.
Yes.
In terms of that, we just set ourselves a goal, and if it was not for Aadhaar, right, Aadhaar enabled us to acquire 1 million customers a day, which is unheard of in the industry as a whole. You take that one step forward with the digital payment ecosystem that we are fast developing. Right? The biggest change that can happen, and I see that happening in the next 12-18 months, is that we can change from, and so far India has been a high value, low volume loan economy. To my mind, India has a big advantage in this new world in terms of digitization. It's very important to be open. It's very important to have partnerships and not be closed. So that's really a strength for India, and we should really build on this strength, continue to be open and never think like, while whatever the world trends will be, right, in terms of the world might want to build walls around, I think it is very important for us not to be influenced by that, but to make sure that we are always open, always connected, and clearly, in my view, we will find solutions. There will be issues with security and privacy, but as long as we are clear of our end objective, right? So if we focus on the goal, we will overcome the obstacles of security and privacy. They will always be important, but the goal of development and the goal of improving lives of hundreds of millions of people is the opportunity that we have. I'll share what I have learned. I think advice to an entrepreneur is not appropriate, so I can only share, like, the first piece was really taught to me by my father, in terms of saying that, so he says, and he first gave me when I had just come back from Stanford Business School, so I said, what is going to be my job? Please describe what do I do now? So he says, Acha, am I giving you if you're a job, then you're a manager, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you will figure out what you want to do. I'm not going to tell you anything, figure out what you want. The second piece that I think I learned is that as an entrepreneur, it's very important to find a problem that you want to solve, that you are passionate about. There is and this is the same thing that, in fact, Professor Sharma at UDCG, I was blessed to have him. He'd always say that I am not going to give you a list of problems and then you can go and work on anything. You find a problem, and then I will grade you on the quality of the problem that you find, and then I'll grade you on the quality of solution that you actually do. So the same rules apply for an entrepreneur, that it's not solving problems, it's first finding problems. Once you find the problem, right, then you solve it. The third thing that I have learned is that, and we've now institutionalized it at Reliance, is that you have to create societal value. Right? You have to solve a problem which actually does good in some way. And that has to be the main objective of the business. And financial returns are actually a byproduct. If you focus only on financial returns, right, chances are that you would not really become great and solve your own passion. The other piece that I have learned is failures are normal. Right? With all the success that one sees, people, even in my own case, don't see how many times I have failed before I succeed. So they are just a step before you succeed. So never get disheartened by failures. Learn from them, but never give up. Two non-negotiables for me are, one is treat your investors' money. And this was early on ingrained into us at Reliance, is that we had taken money from small investors, that treat your investors' money even more carefully than your own money. And second is, you cannot do anything without the right team. And it is very important to align the team passionately to your own mission. And finally, an entrepreneur is always positive. He's an optimist, and he proves, there are lots of cynics, lots of negative people around, but an entrepreneur spreads positive energy. That's really what I have learned.
We have to bring positivity, optimism, a belief in ourselves, and failure is acceptable. All of us who don't succeed on our first attempt. I can tell you, I myself, right, have failed, like for every 10 things that I have done, I have failed 6 or 7 times. I have succeeded hugely in 3 times because I have been very lucky. But I think that if we bring overall positivity and optimism in our approach, right, it will take us a long way in terms of meeting the potential of what we can do to really realize our true potential as a country. I think that, starting with you and young entrepreneurs, right? For all of us, and as I would have finished now 40 years in business, it was 40 years ago that I joined my father when Reliance was around $1 million in size. And since then, we know what it means, and we have been a perpetual startup. So in that sense, encouraging young entrepreneurs, making sure, like we have been there before, and I can always realize what every entrepreneur goes through. And it has always been my dream that this country, right, should not produce only tens of dhirubhais, but we should have hundreds of thousands of dhirubhais so that this country can progress. And that was really my motivation, right? I think that if you, and he used to say, and let me answer what we can learn from others and what we can learn from ourselves. So if you really think about China is at 10 trillion today. And my father used to say, कि अगर सोच बदलो तो किस्मत बदलेगी. It's the change in mindset that is critical, right? That's the first thing. And I think that this new generation, right, has a completely different mindset. Right? I feel younger when I'm with the 30-year-olds who teach me technology in geo than the conventional old guys. And that is why we will succeed. It's really because of the enthusiasm of our 30-year-olds. The second piece is that we have to understand that we are entering an era where we are now in what I call an exponential era. And we've all grown up in a linear era. And the difference between linear and exponential is, in linear, if you travel 10 steps, right, you will go 1 to 3 up to 10. In exponential, those 10 steps is you go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. And by the time you reach 10 steps, you're already a billion times ahead. That is why we are accelerating much faster. And it's a good time for India to embrace these technologies and to really empower and realize the full potential of our youth. And that is what is different now. So I really see a new mindset. I see the power of youth. And I also see a lot of unsolved problems. And what entrepreneurship does, and my definition of an entrepreneur is that he finds a big problem and solves it. And I have always said that, for the power of entrepreneurs is in the power of ideas. It is the ability to solve a problem and then scale it so that you can benefit the largest number of people, right? And I think that from that point of view, a lot of my Western friends have always said that, India is a country of a billion problems. And I've always told them we are not a country of a billion problems. We are a country of a billion opportunities. And these opportunities now can be seen. And that is the reason for my optimism. That is what is different. And that is why in this time of accelerating change, right, if we adapt to this new age, not only can we show a new developmental model to the world, not only can we make sure that we have a more equal and a model that is led by all our 1.3 billion people, where all our 1.3 billion people unite with a single-minded purpose. India has led, right, civilization over, but not in these last 200 years. We had excuses
to say, okay, we were under the British rule, we were getting our freedom, and I have grown up with my father's deep aspiration for India to lead and become a superpower. And in my growing up years, I said, we missed this opportunity, and why can't we beat the Koreans and the Taiwanese at doing whatever they're doing and things like that. And you fast forward to this time, and in 2008-9, right, which is when we were all looking at where the world was going, we were just entering what I call, and now what the world calls, the fourth industrial revolution. And at that time, it was not very clear. In 2016, it is absolutely clear that the mobile internet, right, is the defining technology of this century that is going to enable the development of human civilization, converge all the disciplines, solve all the pain points. And we were fortunate to have the right intuition that this industry will evolve in, and we started early. We worked on it for 5 years. Right? As I've said many times before, for this, India is 155th in the world of 230 countries in terms of mobile internet access to our 1.2 billion people. And we think that Geo is conceived and engineered to change that, to make sure that all Indians have access to high quality, low cost mobile internet, which is the first prerequisite for development as we define it today, going forward. Right? I have said many times that I believe in a digital life, and the oxygen for a digital life is data or high-speed mobile internet. And we were lots of skeptics on the way, but I myself am surprised. I am an optimist, but I am absolutely surprised at how India and Indians have adapted to this technology. I thought that lines for new technology and all of that only happened in the US when a new gadget or a new technology came out. I can show you at RCP, right? In all the 17,000 towns and villages, all the 28 states that we launched, right? We had lines, and we still have lakhs of people every day wanting to come online and wanting to adapt to this new mobile internet. So, in that sense, we had conceived Geo to really bring it to 1 billion Indians, to make their dreams come alive. And it's still early days, but we think at least the purpose has been achieved. When I look at India and the rest of the world, right, I feel that we are now not behind the world. And connectivity is the first step in terms of innovation, to give all our young people the power to innovate and compete at an even keel with their counterparts across the world. So I think in that sense, it's satisfying that we have caught up. And this is a big industry. So for us, having set the standards, right, we also give everybody who wants to participate in the industry no option but to exceed our standards. And that's good. That's good for all of us, that we compete in the marketplace, we inspire each other, and at the end of the day, right, it is India and Indians that win. Our principles of doing business are really determined by, first, do we, at this scale and stage, do we create societal value? That's our first tick box that my board and my governance system will look at. And I think that all your perceptions, so A, it's not a punt. B, it's not 150,000 crores, it's 250,000 crores that we've announced at Digital India. C, right, it meets all the criterias of investment that Reliance has set out pretty openly. And those are, number one, it should create societal value. Reliance at this scale and size will not do anything that doesn't create huge societal value. Because at the end of the day, I strongly believe that society gives us a license to operate. Making money only is not the license. So that's the first piece. The second piece is, does it create customer value, right? Just the first 4 weeks, and we were giving ourselves 2 or 3 years in terms of training people and doing all the other stuff, but it creates huge amount of customer value. It meets an unmet need in the marketplace. The third is, does it create employee value? Are we able to attract the best people? Do they enjoy working in terms of an innovative mindset? Are they really getting satisfaction on a day in, day out? And we think that Jio more than meets that criteria. And the fourth, of course, is it has to create shareholder value. My last AGM, I have said that our consumer business, which consists of digital services, our media and entertainment business, and our retail business, in the next few years will be as big as our energy business. And with what we have seen in the last 4 to 6 weeks, right? Like every time, we will prove all the financial analysts wrong. You wait for the next few quarters, and quarter by quarter, you will see the results. And I am very confident that given what we see on the ground, given the leadership that we have in Jio, and the response that we see in the marketplace from India and Indians, right? It's, we will like, in fact, they will exceed my own expectations and my own targets that I have set for them. So as usual, we will prove the financial community wrong. I have no doubt in my mind.
Reliance DNA started from my father when he founded Reliance. And at that time, is ingrained into us that as a business, you must solve problems. And the economic value is more a byproduct of that. So if you look at the history of Reliance, we started with clothing people. We started with textiles. We went into developing the textile industry. We then built our refinery, which was really energy security. We solved the problem at that time in terms of India not importing diesel and petrol. And if we look at our own entry into retail, it was linked to the need for employment creation. And as our balance sheet becomes stronger, right, we still look to solve problems, to create societal values. And now I challenge myself and our people to solve the more difficult problems. And we can take some risks. What we did with Jio is really we put in like, and not many in the world had backed us, but as I just explained, we are strong believers that if India and 1.3 billion Indians have to participate in this new world, right, for us, we cannot always have the data infrastructure 20 years after the world. We would have no chance. Today, we have, I think that India in terms of data infrastructure will be ahead of the US. As we move forward, we think about more and more difficult issues that create value for all Indians. And, I talked about, I think that agriculture is difficult, and that's something that needs to be taken. Education is important, and healthcare is difficult. We would clearly think about what we can do in each one of these areas. I think that for all of us, within profits and losses are risks that we take. And I don't think that we can rely on regulators or governments to guarantee our profits or losses. To me, what is most important is, do we really move the country forward, and does the consumer gain? Is that even if there are profits and losses, who gains and who loses? And as long as the consumer gains and the country moves forward, it's worth taking those losses. Money has never meant much to me. I abhor the labels and the titles, which to me, resources, right, enable you to take risks from a company point of view to which you would have not done. So it gives you a little bit of flexibility. From childhood, right, I have in school and together now, I have never carried money. So I don't have a credit card, I don't carry cash in my pocket. I always have somebody around me who pays for me. So that works. And what I said is, and things that I genuinely believe is that this is a time where things are coming together. There are combinatorial technologies without really covering the landmass with data technologies, without the sensors at the right price, without an overall vision, like, things have to come together. And I think that things are coming together. And India is a great opportunity. And surely, as Reliance, this is a difficult problem to tackle, but we are ready to take on difficult problems. And it's very much on our roadmap. We're building all the resources. We think through we just don't jump into anything. We think through it carefully. But agriculture, education, and healthcare, all three are on our roadmap, which are, to my mind, the most different, and they impact all what we will be able to do in the next 5 years in terms of just raw usage of technology. And if we can solve, this is the most difficult problem to solve. If we can solve it in India, we can pretty much use that anywhere else in the world. And that is why I say India has the opportunity to lead the world, right? We have the opportunity first to solve it in India and then take it to the rest of the world. Our DNA is that we are very focused, and we always believe in the principle of saying that if you focus on the goal, you will overcome all obstacles. If you focus on the obstacle, you will never reach your goal. And we are all believers of first principles. And from our point of view, while the external world can see it, we are pretty much, we work very hard and we focus on the goals that we want to achieve. And we focus on first principles. And clearly, we at Reliance want to be the best in the world. Like it was even in the 70s and 80s when my father said that why should the Koreans and the Taiwanese lead the polyester industry, right? Why can't we in India be? And today we are known, we are the biggest in both not only in size but in quality. We have exactly the same conversation, data-driven digital services business. Why can't India be the best? And that's what drives us. So I'm sorry if it appears very competitive from outside, but we just want to be the best in terms of what we do. As far as my father is concerned, he's been really the biggest influence. He treated me like a friend, and I hope that I can treat my children as a friend.
That was Mukesh Ambani, the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries. Mukesh Ambani is a man of great determination and resilience. He has overcome many challenges in his life, but he has never given up on his dreams. He is a true inspiration to anyone who has ever dreamed big. He shows us that anything is possible if we set our minds to it and never give up. Mukesh Ambani is a true visionary who has helped to transform the Indian economy. He is an inspiration to many. He is a shining example of how one person can make a difference in the world. In this video, we have learned about Mukesh Ambani's journey to success. We have also heard some of his most inspiring quotes. I hope you have found this video informative and inspiring. Thank you for watching Rising Ahead. Please like, subscribe, and share this video to those who dream big in life.